I thought I was ready when I accepted the job, but I never expected this. Call? Call from Kurisu.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, it's Makise. Kurisu was displayed on the screen. Yes, it was Amadeus. The app the professor had given me allowed me to access the servers at Victor Conradian University from anywhere, 24 hours a day. So yeah, so she is at the university, sort of, technically. Okay, cool. Short for... Yes, I know what app means. Oh, God. Sorry. So yeah, so basically cloud computing. Neat. So she gave me a little phone call. Oh, okay. This I hadn't predicted. I never thought she would call me, or that her face would be displayed on the screen. Oh, video call. She looked really mad. Guess why? I'd got 8 calls from Kurisu, and I ignored them all. Oh, that's not very nice. Why'd you pick up? What you doing? What you doing, Okabe? Talking to a realistic girl on my smartphone with so many people around was pretty embarrassing. Man, what is this? More than that strangely polite, friendly Kurisu from yesterday. Angry, stubborn, more curious than anyone. The way she seemed to be constantly challenging you. I realized that this really was Kurisu Makise. This was the girl I spent those 3 weeks with. Lab member 004. Lab member. My assistant Christina, aka Kurisu Makise. Her movements were a little more jerky than I'd seen on the computer in the office, but evidently that was because of the smartphone. When'd you read your phone? This alone was enough to make me feel like my heart was being squeezed dry. I stood still, holding the smartphone tight. Hey, it's Ferris. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so we're back in the time of going out for dinner. Back to going out for dinner. I thought to myself as I ran up to catch up with the others, maybe the doctor was right, and this test would be a very cruel thing for me. But even so, in my mind, I was already starting to think about what I would talk about with Kurisu. Oh, poor Okabe. Oh, hey. Okay. Hi, Maho. Okay. Well, now the font changed, and so now it's Maho? Okay, well, that's cool. She's remembering the last time she spoke to Kurisu in person. Well, flashback. March 28th. That night, Kurisu was whispering to herself a lot. Victor Conradian's University's Brain Science Institute. Conrandria? Maho and Kurisu worked in the same room at the lab. Thus, Maho was forced to hear Krisu's angry mumblings whether she wanted to or not. The little was fine, but she'd been acting like this all day, and it was keeping Maho from concentrating. She finally snapped and turned away from the paper she was writing. English was the language most commonly used at the university. When the other staff and professors were around, she'd always use English, but when it was just her and Krisu, Maho would often speak in Japanese. Hey, it's Krisu. Krisu stopped with her luggage and turned around. Maho decided to calm down by standing up and going to the shelf where the research notes were kept. There were several books that she needed for a paper, but they were all up on the top shelf. This must be someone's idea of a prank, she said. She stared up at a heavy book. She had to try and reach for it, but no matter how hard she stood on her toes, she came nowhere close. Her tiny little arms seemed to her like a dead branches waving in the wind. She bit her lip. After she'd skipped some grades to go to college and then come to work at a lab, she'd had more chances than ever to hate her small stature. So she still did skip grades? Yep. Oh, okay. Whenever she walked outside after dark, the cops would stop her. Even with her ID, she couldn't get into bars, and buying medicine and alcohol at drugstores was a pain. The most humiliating part is wherever she went, everyone thought she was in middle school. No one believed her when she said she was 20. Everything in America was just too big. Oh yeah, sorry. Krisu noticed the trouble Maho was having, and he came over. But Maho was stubborn and just tried to pretend that nothing was wrong. Krisu easily reached the highest shelf and grabbed the book Maho wanted. Krisu covered her mouth when she realized she said something she shouldn't have. Oh, no, I'm not really that. Oh, yeah, you shouldn't say that. Yeah, no, you don't say that. Krisu handed over the book as she spoke, and then suddenly, her eyes went wide and began to sparkle. Oh. It looked like Krisu had come up with a new idea. This was a regular occurrence for Krisu, and Maho was used for it. Wouldn't that be proof of a self? For Amadeus? Yeah. Oh yeah. No matter how advanced an AI was, it wouldn't talk to itself unless you programmed it to do that. And there was no need, or even point, for a feature like that. When it started talking to itself, that might be a good indication that there was a self to talk to. But Maho hesitated to agree with her.
めったなことを口にするものではないわ。魂は神が人間に与えたもうたものである。そう考える人たちが多いことを忘れないで。
そうでしたね。
Oh, so it's awkward. Krisu's expression dimmed. Krisu and Maho were both treated as heretics in the lab. Ah, the heretics. Especially since they were Japanese women. And Krisu was simply too talented. Nobody actually ever did anything, but a lot of the older scientists were actively avoiding her, definitely. The doctor was the chief scientist, and the fact that he liked the two of them was all that let them do their research in peace. The other scientists heard what Krisu had just said. Who knows what they would do? Maho patted Krisu on the shoulder.
まあ、しばらく日本でリフレッシュしてくることね。
それが納得いきません。
どうして？向こうの生活だって
留学するなら大学院ですよ。なんで高校なんですか？
仕方ないでしょ。日本では年齢的にあなたはまだ高校生なんだから。教授の思いやりは素直に受けておきなさいな。
Maho remembered what Dr. Leskinen had said. Krisu had a fragile personality. All the bickering in the lab is putting her under a lot of stress, and she is at her limit. It might just ruin her as a researcher, as the professor had said. He was really worried about her.
それに、もともと7月になれば日本に行かなくちゃいけなかったんだから、ちょうどいいじゃない。
はい。実はそれも憂鬱で。
秋葉原テクノフォーラムだったかしら？
公園なんて慣れてないし、何をどうしていいのか。
サイエンス誌に論文が載った以上、これからもどんどん増えるわよ。練習しておかない。
Oops. Krisu whispered to herself. Maho didn't like being around lots of other people either, so she knew how Krisu felt. But there was a lot of scientists around who wanted to be published in a major journal and then go on to give major public lectures, and she'd beaten out many of them to win that honor. People were jealous. She needed to feel her responsibilities, even just to shut them up. I am not better, though. Maho silently laughed a little and hated herself for doing it. I am just as jealous as they are. That feeling, which was a little like fear, was something that she always felt. The girl in front of her was just that different from Maho. Something she could never reach. Something, no matter how hard she tried. Someone who surpassed everything she had ever done almost instantly.
Senpai?
Krisu was peering into her face, confused. Maho felt flustered.
日本でお父さんには会うの？
Oh. She had heard that Krisu's parents were in divorce, but they were separated. Her mom was in America, and her dad was in Japan, and Nakabashi. After Maho said it, she wondered if that was too personal a question. But Krisu smiled a little.
実は父から招待状が届いたんですよ。夏頃新しい理論の発表会をするそうです。それを見に行こうかと思ってます。
新しい理論って？
Yeah. Yeah, that new theory. Krisu's small smile turned into a small expression of consternation.
まだ詳しく聞いてないんですよね。相対性理論に関することらしいんですけど。
Ah, yes, the theory of relativity refers to two theories published by Einstein. The special theory published in 1905 and the general theory in 1916. These are the sources of the equation E equals mc squared. Special relativity makes the following clear. Matter cannot exceed the speed of light. The closer you get to the speed of light, the slower time gets. If you reach the speed of light, time stops. The closer you get to the speed of light, the more your length decreases. If you reach the speed of light, your length becomes 0. The closer matter gets to the speed of light, the more its mass increases. If it were able to reach the speed of light, its mass would become infinite. General relativity adds the following. Time slows down in the presence of a strong gravitational field. Space compresses in the presence of a strong gravitational field, and mass increases in the presence of a strong gravitational field. Right. Alright. Maho felt like she was hiding something, but didn't question her anymore.
とにかく気をつけて行ってくることね。お土産期待しているから。
何がいいですか？
そうね。せっかく秋葉原に行くのだから、何か珍しいものがいいわ。秋葉原詳しいのよね。
なんでです？
休憩時間によくそういうサイト見てるじゃない。
All those sites.
まさかアマデウスが喋ったんですか？
あの子はそんなことしないわ。あなた、私が後ろにいるのに動画に夢中になってて気づかないことがあるわよ。
まさかバレていたなんて。自分のうかつさが憎い。
Oh. Gusu actually seemed upset for once. This really surprised Maho.
先輩、お願いです。どうか他の人たちには内密に。
別に隠すことはないと思うけれど。
The idea of sharing a secret with Kurisu made Maho happy.
わかった。言わないでおくわ。
助かります。
Kurisu seemed genuinely relieved. Maho continued.
ねえ、あなたが日本から戻ってきたら、アマデウスが独り言をつぶやけるかどうか、二人で検証してみましょう。
Oh. Once you get back from Japan, oof.
はい。
Kurisu had a very happy look on her face. It was the face of a born scientist who loved to explore the unknown more than anything in the world. The smile was as innocent as that of a child who just began given a new toy. It was very beautiful. It was one of the reasons that Maho liked the younger researcher quite a bit. Aw. But the promise the two of them made would never be fulfilled. In fact, they would never even meet again. Who would have thought it, you know? Felt like she was thinking about Kurisu more and more ever since she came to Japan. Maho didn't know if that was because she was born in Japan, or because she was talking with the Amadeus Kurisu more often, or maybe it was because she'd met the young man named Rintaro Kabe. Oh.
私の知らないクリスを知っている人か。
Oh yeah, that's weird for her, right? Yeah, that he would know things about Kurisu that Maho wouldn't. Thinking back, the first day that they'd met, she'd broken down and cried right in front of him. It was something she really didn't really want to remember. She chased the memories way out of embarrassment.
さては岡部さんのことを考えていましたね。
She snapped her head towards the PC monitor. Heh. Maho was in the middle of a conversation with Kurisu. Man,
そうね。
that was a long flashback. Was she like staring at the wall for like 10 minutes? She shrugged and her shoulders and tried to ignore Kurisu's mischievous smile.
不思議だと思わない？レスキネン教授が岡部さんのことをあそこまで買っているなんて。2度しか会ったことのない相手なのに、あなたのアクセス権も渡してしまったし、あそこまで信用していいのかしら。誠実そうな人でしたが。そう？向上心があるのかないのか、少しつかみどころがない人だったわ。好きなんですか？あなた
Maho brought her face close to the monitor and glared, but Kurisu seemed unconcerned.
別に取り繕う必要はないでしょ。
There's no real need to hide it, is there?
昨日は本人の目の前だったから仕方ないにしても、今は私たち二人きりですし。
Kurisu may have not looked like someone who would, but she really enjoyed this sort of gossip. Maybe girl talk was the right word. Maho sighed and sat back in her chair. The creaking sound echoed throughout the empty office.
本当にそんな感情はないわ。岡部さんがどんな人なのかさえまだよく分かっていないのだから。
なるほど。まあそうでしょうね。
Kurisu let the matter drop. This bothered Maho a little.
ただ気になるのは。
なんです？
いえ、なんでもないわ。
What's nothing? Maho had spent a lot of time thinking about something since yesterday, too, to the point where she'd even put off her research. What kind of relationship had there been between Kurisu and Okabe? What was Kurisu feeling in the days before she died? She would have liked to ask Okabe, if she could.
先輩、私のオリジナルと岡部さんは知り合いだったんですか？
Oh, looks like she's figured it out. Maho shivered. It was as if Kurisu had been reading her mind.
どうして分かったの？
岡部さんの話や先輩の反応などを聞いて判断しました。状況証拠を積み上げただけですが、証明しましょうか？
別にいいわ。あなたのことだから反証の余地もないでしょ。
The ways that they used a way that they used words like proof in normal conversation showed that both Maho and Kurisu were scientists at heart. Really?
相手だけが一方的に私との記憶を持っているのでは、対話に齟齬が出てしまう可能性が高いです。
Yeah, that makes
彼と
sense.
話していく上でどうするのかはあなたに任せる。岡部さんの方から切り出してくるかもしれないし、なんならあなたから聞いてみてもいいわ。
Maho still didn't know if Okabe would even access Amadeus at all. I mean, they weren't forcing him to.
知らないふりをするというのは嘘をついているのと同じことになりますよね。
Feigning ignorance. Right. Yeah.
興味深いデータが取れそうな気がします。
Get some good data. Yes, it was interesting, but that was her opinion as a researcher working on Amadeus. How would Rentaro Okabe feel about it? Would this be rubbing salt in the wounds in his heart? Maho realized she was getting much too sentimental.
やっぱり日本に来たせいなのかもしれないわね。
It had been a week since she'd arrived. The first thing she planned to do was offer flowers. Oh, yeah. But she couldn't bring herself to visit the Akibara radio building, or the place where Kurisu died. Oh yeah, yeah, that 8-story building with, you know, it's the birthplace of personal computing. Yeah, the place from the first game. Who are you? I might cut it off here, everyone. That was a lot of reading. But it was good, it's good. More flashbacks, a lot of flashbacks. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.